Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Ep.2 Sports Saturday, and welcome to Season 8, Episode 2 of Chicago Bears Weekly. Now, I usually do Episode 1 about things that we learned from the 2023 or the previous season, but I just absolutely had to get the Justin Fields and Caleb Williams debate thing off of my chest. I won't be talking about that too much in this video, thankfully. If you guys want to see what I think about that, I will leave the video in the cards and as well as the description below. But today in episode 2 of season 8 of Chicago Bears Weekly, I'm going to go over some things that we possibly learned and recap a little bit about the 2023 Chicago Bears season. I'm not going to go game by game. If you want my reaction to that, I will leave that playlist in the description and in the cards as well. It's time to recap and talk about what we learned from the Bears during the 2023 season. Without further ado, let's dive into it. I'm going to go with the defensive side of the ball to start this out because Matt Eberflus, our head coach, is a defensive head coach. And some of the things that we've learned or we've seen about this Bears defense during the 2023 season is that they can take the ball away with the best of them, leading the league in interceptions, one of the top teams in takeaways. And we've seen it from the linebacker position, whether it was the new additions of Edmunds making plays, TJ Edwards making plays. It was a very good year for the linebacking core that, honestly, during last offseason really needed a reboot. And we got it from Edmunds and Edwards, who were making plays all over the field. Edwards was one of the top men in tackles in the NFL. Sanborn, I'm not going to forget him. He played some very good football as well in 2023. So the linebacking core and the creation of turnovers, and we've seen the defensive line is the biggest thing that I saw improve. And I seen more of that improvement when we acquired Montez Sweat in a mid-season trade, which I think was a home run for GM Ryan Poles, because Montez Sweat immediately came to the Chicago Bears and changed the outlook of this defense, because he is one of those special players that commands a double team. He is one of those special players that can change a game with his athleticism, can change the game with his bull rushing, his power rushing, speed rushing, getting after the quarterback, forced fumbles, batting down passes. Montez Sweat is one of those players that is just an absolute game wrecker, and we've seen that from the moment he put on a Chicago Bears uniform. We've seen Gervon Dexter. He really showed improvements later on as the season went. The rookie. We've seen Justin Jones have some moments, and it sucked that Yannick Ngakoue was lost at some point in the year due to that ankle injury, which I think if he was in the lineup with Montez Sweat, because Yannick Ngakoue is a guy that can get at the quarterback even though he has some struggles. I just think taking that pressure off of him with a younger guy in Montez Sweat would have done real wonders. The secondary, we knew that Eddie Jackson was kind of on his legs. He wasn't the same player that he was. We've seen Jaquan Pritzker make massive improvements. Kyler Gordon turned out to be a very good player in that slot. Tyreek Stevenson, the rookie, he had an absolute very good season for the Bears. And a guy like Jaylon Johnson, who I think the Bears actually need to get paid. He played himself as one of the more elite corners that we have in the NFL now. Us as Bear fans, we kind of knew that Jaylon Johnson was a corner that he can do very well in coverage. He does very well in coverage, and we knew the type of player he was. It's just sometimes those interception numbers really did not match up with some of the things that we know as Bears fans that Jaylon Johnson can do. And this year, the breakups, the interceptions, the rating and coverage, he played himself into a Pro Bowl, his first career Pro Bowl. It made himself one of the more elite corners in the NFL. And I think the way that he covers changed the way that this defense was as well when you added a Montez Sweat during the season. And another thing that we've learned from the Chicago Bears on the defensive side of the ball is that Matt Eberflus, his play calling when he had to take over for Alan Williams, when the Alan Williams had all that stuff going on. Matt Eberflus is a very good defensive mind. We've already knew that from his time at the Indianapolis Colts. He had more pieces to play with this defense this year with Stevenson, with Pickens, with Sweat added midseason, Edwards, Edmunds, all those names that I mentioned before. We see that Matt Eberflus's play calling is a very good thing. Now, one thing that we did learn about the defensive side of the ball is they need to continue to have consistency through all 4 quarters. We've seen 3 games this year where on the defensive side of the ball, the Bears really let up. The Broncos game to come back, the Lions game to come back, and the Browns game to come back is we really need to see the Bears put that foot on their necks and close ball games out, because if you have those 3 wins, I think this Bears team, not that I know this Bears team was a playoff team. If you close those 3 games alone, you're a 7-win football team into a 10-win football team easily, and you give yourself a chance for the playoffs. Now, I always said that this was a 7-win football team, and it ended up as that. If you close those 3 games out, you have better defensive performances, especially against the Lions the last 5 minutes. They came back with a 14-point lead, 28-7 lead against the Broncos. You had a 17-7 lead against the Browns. You win those 3 ball games. You close the door defensively. You get after the quarterback defensively. You have better adjustments in your secondary defensively. You're a 10-win football team. Now, we also learned that there's still improvements to be made with this football team on the defensive side of the ball. Give some back-end help. You could possibly get yourself another edge rusher. Get yourself some maybe defensive back help, maybe. But I think you're good if you re-sign a guy like a Jaylon Johnson. And I think you get some interior defensive line help. Get some depth to go along with Dexter, to go along with Justin Jones, to go along with Pickens. I think you add possibly another pass rusher. You could possibly add yourself another interior defensive lineman. Get a little bit of help on that back end and get a replacement for Eddie Jackson. What we learned is that this defense is taking steps. They had a #1 rush defense in the NFL, and the interior of the line was a good part of it. The way the linebackers were able to fly around the field was a part of it. And the way that their speed and they were able to close and make tackles were part of it. But I think if you get a little bit more pass rush, you get a little bit in your secondary, you can better outclose games when teams have to throw the football. So what we learned, Bears defense, great at taking away the football. Bears defense, with Sweat's presence, they needed that pass rush help and they got it. But what we also learned is there are still improvements to be made, and there are things that they can use to close the door on teams to solidify. Today's video is brought to you by Cellular C4. This is a product that I personally used before I even decided to partner with them. And the first thing I got introduced to was the energy drinks by C4. This right here is a fruit punch flavor. They have many other flavors. They have popsicle flavors that just dropped. They have Skittles, Starburst, all the type of flavors that you want. To help you get started with your day, you can wake up in the morning before you start your day and drink you one of those. And also before you get that workout in, when it's workout day, you can take you some pre-workout. To help you get the boost in your workout, all the products, 0 sugar, low calories. This is a great product to take you in your workouts and your journey on fitness to the next level. And I am happy to partner with a product that I was already using in my own personal life. And I will leave my code in the description below to save you guys 20% on your first purchase of C4 of their workouts. They even have muscle recovery to help boost after workouts. They have so many supplements and things to help you on your fitness journey, and you can get yours today in the description below. Click the link and use my code APW Sports to help you save 20%. And again, the links are in the description below, and use the code APW Sports to save you 20% on your purchase. Now, it is time to get back into the video. Now, switching to the Bears on the offensive side of the ball. Some of the things that we did learn about the Bears offense is that, number one, if you push the ball down the field, which we didn't see a ton of for the Bears in 2023, when we did push the ball down the field as Luke Getsy and the Bears offense had more success, i.e. games against Denver, i.e. games against the Falcons, i.e. games against the Commanders. When you're able to push the ball in the second game against the Lions, when you're pushing the ball down the field, you're taking some of those shots, you're opening up so much of your offense. And I think with the Bears in 2023, they just did not push the ball down the field enough for them to really have some explosive play. Now, DJ Moore, what we also learned about him, he is elite. He is a true number one wide receiver, and we've seen it in this 2023 season with the lack of production from Mooney, the lack of production from St. Brown, the lack of production from a guy like a Tyler Scott. When you have an elite number one wide receiver, that does open up some things for your offense. And that elite number one wide receiver in DJ Moore made so many plays for the Bears in 2023. Whether it was reverses, whether it was him taking some of those short games and making them long, and whether it was him getting those deep shots, DJ Moore solidified himself as the number one receiver. And Cole Kmet had a very good season in his own right to establish himself as one of the top tight ends that we have in the NFL. Now, the Bears passing game, I think it could have used a little bit more, like I said, shots down the field. Maybe it could have used some more creativity, which I was screaming for during the year. We needed a little bit of that, and we just didn't have enough of it, especially in games like the Minnesota game at Minnesota in a Monday night, where it was so much of the horizontal and screen game that I think if the Bears took some shots, there were chances to be had. And one thing is, the running game is still one of the best in the league, and we can thank quarterback Justin Fields for that, because the way that he's able to escape with his legs, the things that they do with some of those design QB runs. Khalil Herbert missed some time with injury. Roschon Johnson had missed time. Foreman missed time. So the running back room itself individually was just not healthy, but the element of Justin Fields, and even Justin Fields missed 4 games. The element of having a good running game could do so much, and we still see the Bears had one of the more top running games that we had in the NFL. And Justin Fields is a big part of that. Khalil Herbert, when he was healthy, was a good part of that. Foreman ran physical and ran hard. I really liked what I've seen from Roschon Johnson throughout the course of 2023. We learned that building the running back room, I think, could be a little bit better. I'm not going to lie. I think health was a big factor, and I think a little bit of the talent at that running back position can help the Chicago Bears. Now, the things with the offensive line. The offensive line in 2023, we see they still need improvement. Even though Darnell Wright was a very good pick at number 11 overall last year, he played a really good rookie season. Nate Davis was in and out of the lineup, whether it was personal issues or it was injuries. Lucas Patrick did have a good year at center, well, a solid year at center. It wasn't the best. And Whitehair was in and out of the lineup. Tevin Jenkins was in and out of the lineup. Braxton Jones mixed time. This offensive line, it still needs work. It still needs tutelage. It still needs pieces. They had games where they played well, whether it was that Commanders game, parts of the Denver game, whether it was the Lions game, the second Lions game where they had a really good showing and a really good outing, the Falcons game where they had a showing, a little bit of an outing. But the offensive line for the Chicago Bears, let's just face it, in 2023 was inconsistent, especially in pass protection. It was a very inconsistent offensive line, an offensive line that really didn't pick up the blitz very well. An offensive line that when teams threw stunts and creations and motions, they struggled against those type of looks and those type of fronts on the Bears offensive line. In 2023, we learned that the Bears offensive line still needs improvement. I'm not going to get too much into the Justin Fields versus Caleb Williams thing, but I will talk about the season that Justin Fields had. We've seen improvements from Justin Fields. We've seen him take those strides into becoming a very good quarterback in this league. We've seen him take those leaps and bounds. But I will be 100% honest, there's still work to be done. even though I personally believe that the Luke Getsy system was not a great system, and we're going to be honest about it, I think that's why he was fired. It was really not a very good system. We've seen moments, and we've seen Justin Fields has those flashes, even coming back from the thumb injury against the Lions, and he played, I think, one of his better games of the year. We've seen what we can possibly do when we have a consistent attack like we did against Denver, like we did against the Commanders, like he did against the Atlanta Falcons. We've seen Justin Fields can light defenses up. But I just believe the system that the Bears were running with Luke Getsy was not there. And I also believe that Justin Fields, he has room for improvements. I think making some better reads, making some better decisions. I think once you start to get that together, you're going to have a better talented Justin Fields. And Justin Fields, I always tell you guys I'm a little bit biased towards him, but there are still rooms for improvement. There are still things that he can work on, and I'm not going to say he had the perfect 2023, but I think with the offense that he was given, the lack thereof of explosive plays called, the lack thereof of consistent talent outside of Kmet, and the offensive line had its moments, but they struggled for a good portion of the year. I just personally think with improvements for Fields on decision-making, improvement from route concepts, improvements that we've seen that Justin Fields can make, I just personally believe that Justin Fields should be the quarterback of the Bears for 2024 going forward. And Justin Fields' play in 2023, where it has some bumps in the road, it has some bumps and bruises, but the outing that he put out, I think should show enough for this Bears team to really go forward with him in 2024. That is going to do it for this week's episode of Chicago Bears Weekly. What we learned from the 2023 Chicago Bears and a little bit of a recap of some of the things that we saw during the year. Let me know your thoughts about the Bears 2023 total year in the comment section down below. I would love to see what you guys think. And if you guys want to know my opinion on the Caleb Williams versus Justin Fields, go back and watch episode 1 of this Chicago Bears Weekly series. But I am Ep.2 Sports signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great and excellent day. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.